PushGapRadio.com, Hamilton Park, Dallas, Fort Worth.
Fuck that shit, nigga. Fuck that ass, nigga. Shit, nigga.
All the champagne was spiked, son. Like, all the champagne was spiked. Everybody was passed the fuck out. I don't drink, so I was playing that shit off like I don't fucking drink. I smoke, nigga. Like, I smoke and I had my own weed, but, like, everybody was passed out. Yo, Diddy had that man in the room. Look, yes, I put my ear to the fucking door and I brought the phone because Diddy started going in overdrive. I ain't know what the fuck was going on, but I just heard balls slapping against ass cheeks. I heard niggas struggling to take dick. I heard niggas being like, yeah, daddy. Like, when he started all that daddy this and daddy that, and then I heard some hollering and struggling like, yeah, I kept the phone there and I recorded all that shit because I was like, this nigga Diddy rich. So I'm finna put the squeeze on and get me a couple dollars and just ain't, you know what I'm saying? Just nobody believed that was really Diddy beating me back in. But now y'all motherfuckers believe the video, right? Right? Somebody throw me a couple dollars.
Hey, welcome to Estevan TV. I'm at PushGapRadio.com.
PushGapRadio.com. Bridging the gap between old school and new school radio. PushGapRadio.com. It's Dallas, baby.
PushGapRadio.com, Hamilton Park, Dallas, Fort Worth.
Live from Hamilton Park, Dallas, Fort Worth, PushGap Radio.
You can't how Dallas, Fort Worth.
PushGapRadio.com in Dallas and Fort Worth. Welcome back to another edition of Shaka 4-1 in the main event with Jackie O. So I'm pretty sure by now everyone has heard about all of the charges that have been levied against Sean P. Diddy Combs. They actually hit him with more stuff than I thought they was going to hit him with. Sean Diddy Combs is still behind bars as of the recording of this video on Thursday, September 19th, 2024. After a second judge denied him bail in his federal sex trafficking case, Combs could remain in jail for at least a year before the trial begins. And I heard where they got that boy at, it ain't nothing nice. But let's get you up to date real quick on the goings-ons. Check it out.
Sean Diddy Combs is still behind bars this morning after a second judge denied him bail as he faces federal sex trafficking and racketeering charges. Combs was arrested Monday in New York. In his latest appeal, he offered to give up $50 million and restrict his female visitors just his family. But he now waits in jail for what could be at least a year before his trial begins. So joining me now here in Studio 57 with the latest on this case is CBS News correspondent Lilia Luciano. This is quite a case. So this is the second judge, his second attempt to get bail, and he offered all kinds of things that I haven't heard before and still got turned down.
All kinds of things. And Anne-Marie, the prosecution kept saying, look, he has shown that he's not a flight risk. He is trying to sell his plane. He paid off the house, the $50 million, $48 million house in Miami, so that could be a security of sorts. So that could be a collateral for the bail. His family, including his 3 sons, his mother, his sister, and 2 of the mothers of 2 of his daughters were all named as co-sponsors, if you will. They proposed a third party or independent company to do 24-hour surveillance in his house in Miami, of course, monitoring, no access to internet, no access to cell phone. As you said, female visitors, except the mothers of his children, would not be allowed into the house. And the judge said, first of all, you couldn't even, from the defense side, you could not prove that he's not a flight risk, despite his willingness, as they said, to sell his plane, and that the plane is not in the areas or in the cities where he would be, and that they couldn't prove that he's not a danger to the community, and that he couldn't corrupt the case by trying to reach out to victims, something that the prosecutors have said he had tried to do multiple times. So they're saying, look, through third parties, you could still try and threaten or intimidate witnesses or victims.
Yeah, that witness tampering component of it. Are his lawyers complaining about conditions in jail?
Oh, yeah. This is a place, the lawyer yesterday was talking about, the conditions he could be facing, the conditions in the prison, and this is a place that has been called hell on earth. This is a place that has severe understaffing issues. Not long ago, throughout the winter, inmates went through in the middle of the winter, through a whole week without power. They have something, when it comes to the staffing shortages and accusations of smuggling and corruption, there's been more than 6 staff members in the last 5 years who have been charged with crimes. There have been violent events. Somebody died this year by suicide. Somebody else died in a beating. There have been, there were something like 4 suicides this year. Somebody was stabbed, somebody died in a beating. It's a very, very difficult place to be in and survive. And that's why his attorney's saying, please let him post bail, or at least they're trying to move him to a separate prison or a jail in New Jersey.
Quite a shocking shift in conditions for somebody like Puffy.
Who was living in a $50 million home.
Exactly, one of them.
And see, that's why I think they decided to put the RICO Act on him. For those of you who are not familiar with the RICO Act, that's used for mobsters and gangsters and such. The RICO Act is as follows. The Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organization Act, RICO, is a federal law in the United States that was first published on October 15th of 1970. It was passed by Congress to eliminate organized crime and racketeering in the United States. RICO made it illegal for anyone to, 1, participate in the affairs of an enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity or unlawful debt collection. 2, conspire to violate any of the subsections of 18 U.S.C.A. subsection 1962. 3, to invest income from racketeering activities in any enterprise that affects interstate or foreign commerce. Now, they say Jay-Z somewhere right now pacing the floor. You got some folks saying Jay-Z is next. You have some folks saying that Jay-Z ain't got shit to worry about. And I know Drake and 50 Cent somewhere laughing they asses off, you understand me? Now, U.S. Attorney Damian Williams speaks on the charges against seandiddycombs, saying he coerced victims to fulfill his desires, his freaky-ass desires, you fucking perv. Now, Diddy's attorney says he came to New York to cooperate with authorities. His attorney told him to fly in, surrendered his passport and everything, as well as his kids, his mom, family members. Feds also believe they found drugs during the arrest. Prosecutors claim the singing mogul's alleged criminal behavior continued until days before his Monday, September 16th arrest. Diddy had been in New York for 11 days before federal authorities arrested him on sex crime and racketeering charges at a Manhattan hotel at about 8:30 p.m. on Monday, September 16th. In his hotel room, law enforcement allegedly found bags of pink powder, which some folks on the net have said it's been called Tootsie, which prosecutors said at Combs' Tuesday, September 17th arraignment appears to be narcotics. Bags of pink powder were found in Sean Combs' hotel room after he flew to New York on the advice of his attorney 2 weeks ago to await arrest. Authorities are having the powder tested. Assistant District Attorney Emily A. Johnson told a federal judge during the music mogul's arraignment. Johnson alleged that previous seizures from Combs suggest that the powder could be ecstasy. Tootsie is what they're calling it, T-U-C-I. Now, Combs' lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, did not address the allegations of potential hotel room drugs in court on Tuesday. Now, let's look at the video and try to get some idea on what the goings-ons are with the charges that have been levied against Sean P. Diddy Combs. Check it out.
The alleges that Combs threatened and coerced victims to get them to participate in the freak-offs. He used the embarrassing and sensitive recordings he made of the freak-offs as collateral against the victims. Agents seized evidence of the crimes charged in this indictment. They seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 defaced AR-15s and a large-capacity drum magazine. They also seized evidence of the freak-offs, electronic devices that contain images and videos of the freak-offs with multiple victims. And they seized cases and cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the freak-offs, more than 1,000 bottles altogether. We are not done. This investigation is ongoing, and I encourage anyone with information about this case to come forward and to do it quickly.
Because P. Diddy be wanting the body. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did.
So in a 14-page indictment unsealed Tuesday, prosecutors claim that for years the singer known as Diddy coerced women to participate in freak-offs, defined as drug-induced, elaborate, and produced sex performances with male sex workers. Prosecutors say he threatened the women's entertainment careers if they refused him and used secret recordings of the performance as collateral. I can make you famous. You want to be a star, right? You know what you got to do. You want to be a star, right? You talk about the Illuminati and this, that, and the third, the Hollywood casting couch. Let's talk about Diddy. Diddy said, I can make you famous. Niggas been lying for years. Okay, but they used the recordings as collateral. The potential drug allegations, which came out during a hearing in which Combs was denied bail, and when, Johnson said, the singer was waiting potentially for his arrest and would be expected to be at his very, very best behavior. The allegations were used by prosecutors to claim that the singer would continue breaking the law unless he was detained. Now, Diddy was arrested again late Monday night at a hotel in Manhattan, New York. On Tuesday, his defense filed a proposed bail package in which they offered $50 million to keep him from behind bars. How much are you willing to pay to stay out that cage? For those of you who've ever been there, how much would you pay, mine? This nigga talking $50 million just so he ain't got to go to the pokey. What Nino Brown said, you take me down, I'm taking a whole lot of folk down with me. Now, his lawyer told the judge on Tuesday that the singer is in treatment and therapy. Come, you wasn't in that shit before you fell, my nigga. And he also requested that Combs be released on the $50 million bond and told the court on Tuesday that the singer had paid off the mortgage of his $48 million residence, which he thought was a terrible business decision, so that he could provide the money. First off, Playboy, you ain't finna be able to put your house up for no damn collateral. They got you wrapped up in RICO charges with drugs involved. They done hung a case on you, fam. RICO and conspiracy. Hard to beat, especially when you fucking with the Fed. For those of you who know, they finna confiscate all your shit, my nigga. They about to freeze your bank accounts. They finna confiscate all your properties. They about to confiscate everything. Again, it's the RICO. So it ain't gonna just be him. It's gonna be a whole lot of folk that's involved with this case. Now, I don't need to tell you this, but that nigga ain't getting no bond, fam. Again, he already went back on Wednesday, September 18th, denied yet again. And I could have told anybody that nigga ain't getting no bond. Let me tell you something. Diddy ass gonna sit his ass where he is right now. And that's where he gonna be until they transport his ass to prison. He ain't going nowhere. The days of P. Diddy being a free man is over. You heard me? You ain't gonna see that nigga on the other side of them bars for the rest of his life. It ain't gonna happen. He done. Now, Assistant DA Emily Johnson alleged that the rapper had an ongoing ability to obstruct justice, influencing and gaslighting witnesses who she claimed were in his pocket and at his disposal if he remained out from behind bars. Check it out.
Sean P. Diddy Combs is now federally indicted and faces prosecution in the Southern District of New York. What are his charges? What can we expect from this prosecution? Allow me to explain. Prosecutors in the Southern District of New York unsealed an indictment that alleges 3 counts of violations of federal law against Mr. Combs. The first is racketeering, a violation of the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. Count 2 is sex trafficking by coercion, force, or fraud. And count 3 is engaging in transportation for purposes of prostitution. Much of the 14-page indictment is devoted to describing these so-called freak-offs, where Mr. Combs and or his associates would orchestrate these sex party events where individuals would do drugs, have sex, engage in prostitution, and Mr. Combs would film it. Okay, so those are the charges, and in my next video, I will describe what is going on in terms of Mr. Combs being detained pending trial. Stay tuned.
Assistant DA Johnson claimed that over a 3-day period the week before his arrest, Combs had made 128 phone contacts, including 58 calls and texts to singer Kalina Harper, arguing that the rapper successfully urged her to refute sexual abuse claims that was in a lawsuit filed by the singer Don Richard on September 10th. If I'm not mistaken, Don Richards is with Danity Kane. You remember that little show Diddy had on from Making the Band and all his other little shows. But 3 days later, Harper posted to Instagram, writing that Richard's personal perspective should not be interpreted as a universal truth applicable to anyone involved. Again, Diddy returned to federal court on Wednesday, September 18th at 3 p.m. to appeal the decision to deny his bond. At this time, he's still behind bars as of Thursday, September 19th, the recording of this video, after a second judge denied him bail on the federal sex trafficking case. Combs could remain in jail for at least a year before his trial is heard. Mind, the Fed got all day. They using your damn tax dollars to come after you. A nigga using your money to lock your ass up. Who ever heard of such a thing? Some of these clowns had news cameras outside the courtroom with microphones and shit waiting for Diddy to come out like he was finna come out and make a statement. Nigga ain't coming out, fam. See what he charged with? Nigga ain't getting bond. They won't even take your $50 million. Fed don't care. Full disclosure, I fell for the Fed mine back in 1991. Sean Diddy Combs has been indicted on federal sex crime charges shortly after arriving in Manhattan federal court Tuesday morning. He's charged in, again, a 3-count federal indictment, which was unsealed at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. Sealed indictment at first. Now the Fed done opened it up. It was unsealed Tuesday, September 17th. See, the Fed take their time with you. They can afford it. It's your tax dollar they spend. Again, racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. You know, that's how they got the boxer Jack Johnson back in the 1800s. Jack Johnson was a famous boxer, for those of you who don't know. Jack was beating the shit. Jack Johnson was beating the shit out them white boys. The only way they could get him because he was with a white woman. The Mann Act, they called it. Because he took her over state lines, saying you cannot transport a woman over state lines for prostitution. He was his girl. But that's how they finally caught up to him. So, yeah, they putting that on Diddy as well. Now, Diddy's oldest son, Christian King Combs, made his way with a group of 7 men to the 5th floor arraignment room, where they requested a copy of the Music Mogul's indictment. The younger Combs was seen reading the 14-page indictment, outlining the allegations against his 54-year-old father. In April, his eldest son, who was not named in the federal indictment, was accused alongside of him of sexual assault in a lawsuit filed by Grace O'Marcaine in L.A. Superior Court. In a statement from his lawyer, Aaron Dyer called her claims manufactured lies and irrelevant facts. Of course, that's what the hell you pay your lawyer for. There's a shot of his son coming out of the courthouse after reading the 14-page indictment. King Combs looked like he was weak in the knees, fam. That nigga sick to his stomach. Because who gonna provide that lifestyle for you now that Diddy gone? Huh? Uncle Daddy gone, nigga. Who gonna pay for all that? Now, keep in mind, they just said Diddy paid off the $18 million mortgage on his house in Miami. That's the house he wanted to put up for collateral so he could get bond. Again, in the indictment, prosecutors alleged that Sean Combs coerced women into highly orchestrated sexual performances, which he called freak-offs. You're all aware of that by now. Again, they say he arranged, directed, spanked his monkey, and everything was electronically recorded per the indictment. The indictment further alleges that the singer used these recordings as collateral to ensure the continued obedience and silence of the victims, threatening their careers and livelihoods, including if they resisted participating in the freak-offs. I can make you famous. You want to be a star, right? Federal authorities also claim in the indictment that in March they seized from his residence in Miami and L.A. various freak-off supplies, including narcotics and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. Baby oil? Lubricants. KY Jelly stock done shot up. Johnson & Johnson stock done went off the chain. Just slipping and sliding up in there, fam. 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. Plus that monkey spanking juice got to be everywhere. Once old boy get through doing his thing, it's got to be some juices. Gotta be. Now, Young Miami disappeared after prosecutors named her as the baby oil queen.
It looks like Young Miami is on the run after being named in Diddy's indictment papers by federal prosecutors. Homegirl has been trying to distance herself from Diddy since Cassie dropped her lawsuit, and it's like she's been trying to make us forget all about how she and Diddy went together real bad. But while she was doing her whole rebrand thing, the universe hit her with an Uno reverse card because Diddy just got indicted on federal charges by a grand jury. And the streets are saying that she was featured heavily in the lawsuit, especially when it comes to certain spicy bedroom activities involving baby oil, if you catch my drift. Well,
looks like Young Miami is on the run after being named in Diddy's indictment papers by federal prosecutors. It's a whole lot of folk gonna be on the run. A lot of people finna be on the lam, fam. Diddy got tape. Okay. With R. Kelly, it was just him. With Diddy, it's a whole lot of folk. Young Miami stated she is his ride or die. How that working out for you now? Homegirl been trying to distance herself from Diddy since Cassie dropped her lawsuit. Like she trying to make us forget about how she and Diddy went together real bad. She wanted to be in that category of beautiful, exotic women he actually did go with, like Kim Porter, J-Lo, Cassie. But her pride, desperation, and low self-esteem wouldn't allow her to see that she was there in a totally different capacity, fam. He was a monster to all of them, but he didn't even claim Young Miami's ass. Somebody should have told all money ain't good money. Old folk used to tell you that. She gonna pay a high price for her association with Diddy, my nigga. Gonna clown her. They saying they think she was used like Jeffrey Epstein's girl, Ghislaine Maxwell, for Diddy. Remember, Epstein killed himself in prison, so they say. And Ghislaine Maxwell was his right hand. These are some of the things they're saying that Miami did for Diddy. Ain't no way she can claim to not be involved in some kind of way. Hard for me to see her as a victim. What I'm bracing for are some of the celebrities that have associated with him over the years. People like Ellen, Ashton Kutcher, T.D. Jakes, the Power Bottom, etc. But while Young Miami was doing her whole rebrand thing, the universe hit her with an Uno reverse card. Because Diddy just got indicted on federal charges by a grand jury. And the streets are saying that she was featured heavily in the lawsuit. Especially when it comes to certain spicy bedroom activities involving the baby oil, if you catch my drift. I don't feel bad for Young Miami, mine. She was warned about Diddy. She didn't care. She just wanted to be with him real bad. Remember when she did the podcast with that famous necklace on that Diddy gave her and defended him like this man is such a mogul and taught her so much? Diddy was a beast and she was involved. A lot of her tweets prove that. She's an accomplice. Needs to be held accountable. So they say, should Diddy's chief of staff and right-hand person, Christine Coram, or KK as she is called, she's more like the Ghislaine Maxwell for Jeff Epstein. This chick took care of everything for Diddy. They say she ain't been charged in any crimes. But again, she's Diddy's chief of staff, and he once described her as his right hand and is now considered a manipulator in chief. Most of these charges seem like they're based upon what he did to Cassie. This how you know Cassie, the one, was probably cooperating with the government from the giddy up when she got that 30 mil out of his ass. Because at the end of the day, when they bust up in there and raided his crib, they knew exactly where to go. Because Cassie told them. They knew exactly where to go. Come on now. Cassie gave it up. No, you saw the video where he ran up on her, snatched her at the elevator. Knew exactly where to go because of Cassie. Plus, she got her 30 mil, fam. Diddy's is responsible for ruining countless people's lives, man, specifically men. Didn't matter what he did to the men, but it wasn't until he done something to these women that now all of a sudden it's like, yeah, we got to get this dude. 6 white women. Finna clown Diddy. Now, I'm going to tell you what the women going to do. The women that's involved, they going to play victim. They going to cry victim like a mug, fam. Say they ain't have a choice. They going to say Diddy was so powerful that they was terrified of him and didn't have a choice, even if they were willing participants. Now, I ain't talking about Cassie. I'm talking about the other women that may have been willing participants because it was Diddy, the power. Women love power. Hypergamy is what they call it. Whoever got the most power and the most money, these chicks going to sweep them down. They was victims. They're going to be like, nope, we was victims. Now, the men, the guys that helped them out, y'all screwed, fam. You done. Any man that helped Diddy out with any of that, what he had going on, you done, son. It's a wrap for you because you ain't even going to be able to play the victim. They ain't going to let you play the victim. You a man. That ain't going to happen. Now, Joe Rogan has a show called The Joe Rogan Experience where they're saying he was talking about 13 different celebrities that was shown in some Diddy's freak-off footage. You can check that out to find out who's on the list and what it means for the music industry. Yeah, they found video of the freak-offs on electronic devices that contain images and videos of the freak-offs with multiple victims, man. Again, cases and cases of the personal lubricant baby oil that Combs and the staff allegedly used to stock the hotel rooms with for the freak-offs. Over 1,000 bottles of lube. This got to be the freakiest shit on planet Earth, man. You thought R. Kelly was bad. Authorities have interviewed more than 50 witnesses and collected dozens of cell phones, laptops, and hard drives. And they in possession of video that they say shows the coerced sex acts that Combs is accused of orchestrating. It's a wrap for Diddy, baby. It is a wrap. Shaka 401 in the main event with Jackie O on the bangingest thing on your urban internet radio dial. Pray until something happens. God always provides. At PushGapRadios.com, the power is in the name. Never average, never mediocre, online, on point, and on the money. PushGapRadios.com. Dallas, baby. And we're out.